Glad you got the message in the card. I hope you have got your hot chocolate with you while you listen to this for the next few minutes. Now, in your wee packet that I give you, a packet of sweets, you got a hot chocolate, you also got John's Gospel, and you got a card. And cards are something we receive a lot of at this time of year. I used to remember my mom's house, we used to get all the cards and we would get a wee bit of blue tack and put them all around the door frame. I remember going to my granny and basically her whole wallpaper was different cards that she had got and it was right on the wall. And these cards all have different messages like Merry Christmas or Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, or the one I sent you was Joy and Peace. And there's lots of different encouraging messages. But I wonder if you ever got a Christmas card that said Do Not Fear on it. It's not your everyday message you would get on a Christmas card. Imagine opening up a Christmas card and pulling it out of the envelope and it says, "Do not fear." You'd be thinking like there was a death threat over your life. But imagine it said, "Do not fear." And let's be honest, in 2020 there has been a lot to fear. Things have just been threw up in the air. What we took for granted has changed. How we meet people. Maybe we had dreams of trips we would go on. Maybe we had dreams of things we would do over the summer, of how the new school year would turn out. Perhaps for some of you, you've been to a different school and you had a dream of how that would be. You were thinking of playing a certain sport, but that hasn't been allowed to happen. And 2020 had a lot to fear in it. And in one big sense, it was just a big failure. There was everything to fear. And I want to ask you, where do you turn then when you fear? If that Christmas card said, "Do not fear," where do we turn? Well, in one sense, we have another fear as well. We have the fear of failure as human beings. We have things we'd like to do and we fear failing them as well. And we have a fear that we have failed God as well. We have lived our own way, taken life into our own hands. And in another sense, while we can fear the future, we should also fear God's punishment for our disobedience as well. How do you live a life then not in fear? Well, I don't fear. I do fear at times, but on the whole, I don't fear because I know Jesus. At Christmas, Jesus came into our world, a world full of fear, a world full of darkness, to bring joy and peace. He came to sort out our biggest problem, which was our sin. So my disobedience is covered by Jesus. He pays for my sin on that cross and he credits me with a positive account. I'm able to live in peace with God. So I don't have to fear God's punishment. And I also know that Jesus is coming back. I know that God has our days in his hands. I know that 2020 didn't catch God by surprise. He knew it was happening. He ordained it. He planned it to happen for his own glory. So when I begin to fear, I look to God and go, "You have got this, God." So do not fear is a true message. It is worthy of a Christmas card because of the baby Jesus born at Christmas. You have the chance not to fear. Your future, you can trust in God, and your sin, you can trust, was paid on the cross by Jesus Christ. You can either place your life into Christ's hands or try and figure it out for yourself. How's that gone for you in 2020? How has doing life by yourself, trying to rationalise it and think through it and cope with it yourself, how's that gone? I know, speaking to a lot of Christians, their hope in the resurrection has given them great confidence in 2020 because they know that one day everything will be okay. Because Christ resurrected and overcame sin and death, we can have great confidence one day we will overcome death. Everything will be made new and we will be with Christ. So keep that card in mind. Do not fear. It can change your life. The message of Jesus can change your life. And that's why over the next couple of weeks, when you're off over Christmas, I'm going to be putting up a short 2-minute video. It might be myself and a few other people. And we're going to be working through John's Gospel. And you got John's Gospel in that wee pack that I give you. And John says here's why he wrote his book. In John 20:30-31 it says, "I have written these words so that you may believe and have life in Jesus." He could have wrote about a lot of things else, but the main motivation for writing John's Gospel and teaching those people and us about Jesus is that we might believe and have life. Having life in Jesus is believing in him, and it brings that joy and peace. And I want you to know that today, that you can combat fear with the peace and joy of Jesus. I want you to hear and believe in Jesus this Christmas. And if you don't believe, I want you to at least consider. Be open to the possibility that he is real and that he is for you, and that his words and who he is can change your circumstance and your life. So come on a journey, hit the subscribe button on this channel, and you'll get a wee video update every day. God bless you. And if this is the only video you do watch, have a Merry Christmas, and I'll see you back at the small groups or Red Door or Movement or something like that in the new year. Merry Christmas.